On Thursdays is when we talk about mindfulness, and mindfulness is about being present and being in the moment and not being in recriminations, even if they're at ourselves. And so today I want to talk specifically about, a lot of people write in and go, yeah, the whole meditation thing, I don't get it. I don't, other people love it. And some people are like, my brain moves too fast. I just can't. So I'll sit there and I'll meditate and, I find myself thinking about things and getting caught up in that. And then I realize, oh, I'm thinking about things. So I say to myself, stop thinking about things. And I'm so not in the moment, right? So for those of you who really struggle with meditation, there's another consideration, and that's movement. It could be lots of different things, but one of the things that I particularly like is if you come up with a couple of movements. We all have a couple of stretches that we do on occasion that feel really good, right? That you know that if you take the time to do that particular stretch, and it's different for different people, but if you take the time to do that particular stretch every once in a while, you feel better. And it's not stretching to the point of hurting yourself, but something that feels really comfortable. I don't run, like it's just not in my nature to run. I'm not a runner. I've never been a runner. But I know that if I take the time, I must carry a lot of tension in my feet, because if I take the time to stretch my hamstrings on a regular basis, I'm a happier person. And years ago, when I started having problems with my sciatica, my chiropractor taught me a stretch that I can do that, he explained to me the whole thing about your sciatica, because you have one muscle that goes one way and then another muscle that goes this way, and you have the nerve that's your sciatica that goes in the middle, and if this or this get tight, it strangles the sciatica, and so you have to have a way to stretch this circular muscle in a way that it makes room for the nerve. And so he taught me this very specific thing to do to stretch my sciatica. And when I remember, it's not stretching my sciatica, but the muscle that goes around my sciatica is what it is. And when I remember to do that, I feel better, right? But I often forget or don't take the time. So something that my husband and I started doing when our son was diagnosed with autism, and I got to be honest that there was a lot of the stress, and we were trying to get services, but there were costs of things. And the more time I took to try to connect us to services, the less time I had to work. And that meant that I, wasn't making as much money, and then we had more stress on top. So it was like this thing that grew and grew and grew. So what we decided to do eventually was we had heard about the power of having affirmations. And we took some affirmations and we, taped them to mirrors so that they were there. Like when we were brushing our teeth, we would see, this affirmation and be reminded of it. But we also wanted to be taking better care of ourselves, just in terms of stretching. Like I said, not doing aerobics. So my husband and I started doing something that we still call our money mantra. And so, because we didn't have time to do everything, we were busy autism parents, right? So we took our meditation and our moment together and our stretches and put them all together with an affirmation. So we each came up with a phrase that we would say, and it had to be a short phrase, and something that was positive and something that we could be 100% behind. And then we took 7 stretches that we decided on that were good for us. And every night, like during a commercial or something, or sometimes it was right before we go to bed, and one of us would go, oh, we didn't do our money mantra. And we would be like, oh, I don't want to do it. It takes less than 30 seconds. Let's just take 30 seconds to do it. And so we would, as we're stretching, we would say our money mantra. So I went to do this, so I might be doing this side stretch, and I would say it out loud, not very loud, my money mantra, and he'd be standing there next to me saying his money mantra. And the truth of the matter is that we both felt better, our backs were in better condition, and the money thing got better. And, I don't know whether that's voodoo magic or whatever, but I can tell you that we were more present about our money. We had positive things that we were saying, and they're private, so I'm not going to repeat them here, but We also did a thing eventually that we're not doing anymore, and I wish we were, and it's my thing to myself to say, okay, we should be doing this, is the money mantra thing was going so well, and we were feeling so good, and things were happening, and corners were being turned, and so we decided that we would do this thing where we would sit on the floor every night for 2 more minutes. So it would be 30 seconds for the stretches and then 2 more minutes. We would sit on the floor and hold hands. You can sit on the couch and hold hands, but holding hands. And we would close our eyes for 2 minutes, and we had a stopwatch going, so that it wouldn't be more than 2 minutes, and just let our minds wander and not have any focus, but, have just done the money mantra, sit down, hold hands, and let our minds wander. And then we would open our eyes and talk about what our mind wandered to, whatever it was. And the thing about, because we had just stretched and done the money mantra, and after the money mantra, you feel like anything is possible, it was always these positive things that we would envision. And so much of the time, when we were talking afterwards, I would say, I visualized that, because we were living in this terrible cockroach-infested condo, you guys. I mean, it was bad. It was really, really bad. And I would say to him, so much of the time I would have this vision in my head of that we would be in a house, not a huge house, but a house that had a little backyard that I could garden in, and that we would have a dog, and that Jem was doing so well, and that he had friends, and, all of those things. And that all came to pass. And my husband would visualize other things, and a lot of which has come to pass. I would tell you that not everything has come to pass, because I always pictured us having more kids, and that has not come to pass. But a lot of what we saw happened, and the truth of the matter is I would always be happy afterwards. And it was a great way for us to connect as spouses, because sometimes you just I don't know how to anymore. like all we talk about is the autism thing. So, just putting it out there that you can move, and that can be a part of meditation, and it can lead to meditation. So maybe try on a money mantra, or some other kind of, maybe it's a health mantra, but something positive that you say while you're moving. It can be as powerful. It's a way to be mindful. It brings up mindfulness about whatever the mantra is that you're doing, and it really gets in your body, and it can be a really positive thing.